Alright, I am back in the Machariel. Now, my last PvP run with this ship was actually my first PvP run with the Machariel, and surprisingly, that also was one of my best PvP runs in a very long time. Had the chance to shoot down a lot of very nice faction battleships, and also I had the chance to shoot down a Barrage, which is one of the more expensive ships in the game, and definitely one of the more rare ships in the game. Now, last time someone pointed out that my DPS on the Machariel is low, and I would agree, yes, my DPS is kinda low for a classic Machariel, but that is because of my large cannon skills. As you all know, I did have to reset a lot of skills a couple months ago, and I had to sacrifice the cannon skills. But now I am slowly leveling them up again, and soon that should be around 3000 DPS. My goal is to have around 5.5 thousand, maybe 6000 DPS with all 3 or all 4 gyro stabilizers active. The nanocore is still basically using the same attribute. I haven't leveled it up yet, and of course the other stats on this ship are generally the same. Now, very soon I plan to show you the cannon implants. Currently I am waiting for them to be nerfed, because they're currently one of the most broken implants in the game. You might be wondering, how broken is the Barrage implant? Well, I will actually show you what a decently leveled up Machariel can do, and you're about to see some very ridiculous and very silly DPS. So yeah, this is going to be a very fun video to make for sure. So let's actually show you what I'm talking about. So first I was asked to
Warp drive
see
active.
what happens when you fit a wrong implant on the wrong ship, and by accident I fitted drone implants for the Machariel. So how does that affect the DPS? Well, the cannons will obviously take no effect from the drone implants, but the drones will get a damage boost. Now, since this is a ship that doesn't use drones as the primary source of DPS, the drone implants on this ship are going to be very useless. So if you have a ship that uses cannons, then you should stick with the cannon implants. If you have a ship that uses railguns, then you should use railguns. Basically, don't use drone implants on a Machariel, because the DPS boost on the drones is going to be, well, a little bit weird and very underwhelming for this ship. But the drone DPS is going to be significantly increased on the drone boats. Now I have changed the implants to the cannon implants, the Barrage implant to be more accurate. So I have around 5000 cold DPS, 5004.14 cold DPS, keyword cold DPS. This is basically the default DPS on this ship with the current setup. Now you can only imagine what's the DPS when everything is running. So we have one target inside of this scout anomaly.
Warp drive active.
And also this is a chance to take some nice screenshots of the Neon Ray nanocore, which looks really good on this ship. Okay, we have one Hyperion. Let's see how much. Let's actually see the DPS in full force. Okay, Hyperion has been webbed, and well, Machine Gun Machariel is, yeah, I have no words for this. I haven't finished one sentence, and the Hyperion is no longer a Hyperion. the Hyperion is now a wreck. So that's basically how the barrage implant works. Works really well, as you can see. Works actually, a little bit too well. That was around, I think,
Warp drive
47,000
active.
DPS. Yeah, that's 47,000 DPS. Comparable to my revelation with like 7 heatsinks or something. So yeah, yikes, that's a lot of DPS. Now, how about I take a Dreadnought and basically use the same build? Well, it's even worse. It's even worse, trust me. This thing has around 177,000 DPS. I'll actually open the fitting window a little bit later just to show you the busted DPS on this thing. Now, that's pretty high DPS, but it's a capital
Warp
ship,
drive
so
active.
usually a well-tanked Dreadnought can theoretically take around 20,000 to 300,000 DPS without a problem. So having a Dreadnought with this DPS is still broken, but it's not as broken as a battleship with a Dreadnought DPS value, because a battleship has a lot better tracking than a Dreadnought. So a battleship can be used against subcapitals very easily, while this ship, well, it can be used, but it has to have webs. It has to have the target webbed, scrambled, and basically it has to have target painters. So it just happens that we have a Dreadnought inside of the Scout Anomaly, just sitting there. 21,000 DPS inside of the Siege mode. And now the ship is in full power. You have around 12 shots with the implant. 12 shots at around 177,000 DPS. Which is not going to be enough to break another Dreadnought. But if you can gather like 10 of these ships with this exact build, with this exact implant, then you could get around 1.6 or maybe 2.5 million DPS. And yes, that should be enough to delete a Dreadnought within maybe like, I don't know, 20 seconds or something like that. Maybe a little bit more than that, but yeah. You definitely do not want to get shot by 10 ships with this DPS. Even if you have a brick tank, I don't think that it's going to work against 10 of these ships. And I say 10 just as a base value. I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of ships that have these implants. And I'm pretty sure that there are some of them already in use. That's based on what other players have told me, based on what I actually have seen. Before I made this video, I actually saw a couple of like 50,000 DPS Machariels. So I actually had to check it out myself, and yes, it's actually true. Currently, a Machariel can have around, on average, with the implant, 20,000, 30,000, some will have 50,000 DPS. Not permanently, only for 12 hits, but as you could see, 12 hits is more than enough to destroy a brick tank Hyperion. So yeah, pretty silly and pretty ridiculous numbers. Of course, it will be nerfed, it has to be nerfed. Because, I mean, I don't even have to explain why. Like, having a Machariel with 50,000 DPS is just wrong. Like, my revelation has lower DPS than that, so yeah. That's basically why it will be nerfed. At least I hope so. We will see what will happen. on the 17th of August. That's basically the time, the date where the nerf should happen. Now 44,000 DPS is with heatsinks, okay, and yep, there we go, 177,000 DPS. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of DPS. And on a dreadnought, you know, it's not going to be that noticeable if you're shooting at subcapitals. But a battleship, yeah, it's... I mean, I really don't have to explain why that's so broken. It's obvious. You can basically turn a Machariel into a machine gun, which is kind of funny, but very, you know, it's funny, but at the same time it's not really funny. And now for the finale of this little test on the start of the video, let me go visit the gate guns on the Stargate. And yes, I know I have the criminal timer. I don't know, I don't care actually. Let's just yeet this dreadnought into a gate gun, because why not? I know that all of you like to see big ships go boom, and you're about to see one very big ship make a very big and pretty explosion.
Warp drive active.
Should be a pretty good one as well. Let's see if I can actually get one hit on the Concorde ships. I think you can actually destroy Concorde ships with a ship like this if you have a lot of them. If you focus fire at one of them, you should technically be able to shoot them down. Of course, no one will try that because these things cost a lot. Okay, have landed on the gate. Where is the gate gun? There it is. Let's lock on. If I get to lock on. Probably not. Yep, that was quick. That was very quick. Well then, let's enjoy the fireworks, because why not? That's a nice looking ship. Well, it was a nice looking ship, not anymore. Now it's a nice looking explosion. Very nice. That's some very good firework on this gate, and a very nice wreck. Okay, well, we had enough fun with the test here. So let me quickly dock and let me jump in the Machariel, and then we can go and destroy some actual ships. Okay. Well, surprisingly, our first target for today will be another Machariel. Not really sure what happened, but there is a lot of Machariels floating around. I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with the broken implants, but you know, that's just my guess. Waiting for the warp. Okay. Approach at 0. Orbit will be also at 0, but that has already been adjusted. With the ship I usually just approach, so I don't have to tamper around with the orbit button. The Machariel is already webbed, probably scrambled. Let me just help in the scrambling part. Okay, they have been webbed and scrambled. The Machariel is now into armor. We have 3 Machariels, very nice. And the Machariel has been destroyed, nice. You know what I just realized? I actually use faction drones on this ship. Imperial Navy medium drones, quite expensive, but at the same time I don't want to change them. I have been using those faction drones for a couple months now on this ship. 4.7 billion, not bad. Very nice. They also had pretty decent loot and overall a okay build. For example, that ship could track a Ortus orbiting at 40 kilometers because they had tracking computers. And they are quite scary on the Machariel. This ship can kill an Ortus very easily, even if the Ortus is orbiting
Warp
at
drive
long
active.
range. So if you're flying Ortus and if you find a Machariel, be very careful. If they start tracking you, warp out. Okay, now the next target is a rattlesnake, and this rattlesnake has a very interesting nanocore, a nanocore that I haven't seen before, so I'm very interested to see what type of nanocore it is. So let's quickly engage. The rattlesnake has been pointed, webbed, and of course scrambled, although pointed and scrambled is kind of the same thing, honestly. Okay, slowly approaching to 0. Now I have a different build here. Dual adaptives, a damage control, basically a buffer tank. Just trying out something different, and I think it should work really well. I noticed that the shield passive recharge got increased. Most of my ships now recover shield very quickly. Damage control is active, so that I can absorb as much damage as possible. The rattlesnake's tank has been broken. The rattlesnake is slowly going down, now in low armor. We'll approach at 5. They are using faction drones. Should be a pretty good kill, but again, we will see what will happen. Low hole on the rattlesnake, and the rattlesnake has been destroyed. Very nice. Some decent loot as well. Okay, let's warp out. The shield did hold really well. For a
Warp
good
drive active.
passive tank, I probably should change the rigs as well, but that will be done next time. 5 billion, not bad. Actually, a really good rattlesnake. And okay, DPS build, nice. They had the new nanocore, the sleeper nanocore, which I've heard is supposedly paid to win and, you know, very strong, but at the same time I did not have a problem at eliminating this rattlesnake. Okay, let's go towards the next target. We have one raven. This should be a quick target, quick kill. Let's warp.
Warp drive active.
This is the classic build that I use on the Machariel. Works really well. Although sometimes I'm wondering if I should start using tracking computers on this ship. But at the same time, I don't really have a problem with tracking. I have a lot of ideas that I want to try out with the Machariel, but so far this seems to work really well. Okay, that was a pretty good warping on the Raven. Now let's quickly shoot the Raven down. They are losing shields. Actually, when I started to shoot at the Raven, the shield on the ship was already a little bit low. And it looks like they are using rapid missiles. Okay, I should be able to tank that for a while. And the Raven has been destroyed. Nice. Some decent loot as well. Now let me warp out. You know, this ship is actually very fun. one of the only battleships that I actually like to use in low sec because
Warp
of
drive
its
active.
speed. It actually feels like flying a cruiser, a very big cruiser to be honest. That was a very nice Raven as well. Now sometimes I also mess up with the warping, and I will show you a couple examples of what I'm actually talking about. Now when the target is aligned, then I like to go with the Stratius, and most of the Stratius PvP roams are actually coming from me tackling a aligned target. With the Machariel you can actually tackle a aligned target, but it is a little bit difficult because you really have to be quick. Now this ship
Warp
is
drive
like
active.
the Cinnamon and like the Dramel. It has basically a very quick warp time. It accelerates in warp very quickly, and it also exits warp very quickly. But in most cases, if you are planning on engaging a aligned target, I would still recommend that you go with a Stratius tackle, because a Stratius is very sneaky. It's a amazing tackle ship. Now here we have an Abaddon, but the Abaddon is actually very far away, so I'm definitely not going to go and reach the target on time. However, if I did take the Stratius, I could slowly approach, or I could actually dual warp, and then I could actually easily tackle the target. Now let's go to the next target. We also have another battleship, and I think it's going to be the same issue that I did face before.
Warp drive
Basically,
active.
if they are aligned and I try to tackle a aligned target with the Machariel, but again, it most likely will not work. Now my apologies for the weird pause. I've just seen a Vigilant and a Venture 3 on scanner, and I'm a little bit confused at what's going on there. Basically playing the game while I record this this video. So I messed up with that warp, and the target has warped away, which is okay. It happens. Not a big problem, honestly. It happens. I'm not really angry at anyone escaping. Everything is fair play, so it's my fault for actually
Warp
messing up
drive
the wall.
active.
Okay, let's go towards the next target. We have a Dominix. Should be a very quick kill, but again, I might be wrong. We will see what will happen. There is the Dominix. Let's quickly tackle. They have been tackled. And the Dominix has been destroyed. Nice. That was very quick. Surprisingly quick. Makes me wonder what kind of build the Dominix has. Well, let's find
Warp
that
drive
out by
active.
looking at the kill mail. Well, yes, this was a empty Dominix. Very interesting. Alright, well, that was a very interesting little ride with the Machariel. We had some pretty good targets. The implant test was hilarious. I actually had a lot of fun recording that. To be honest, I personally thought that the first images that I saw with the crazy DPS, I thought that it was photoshopped. I was really convinced that it was photoshopped until I actually tried them out myself, and yeah, I'm really looking forward for the nerf on the implants. It needs to be nerfed. It doesn't have to be more explained than this. Like, you saw the DPS, you saw what the Machariel can do with the implants against a brick tank ship That Hyperion was built maximum tank, maximum skills. It still died in like 11 seconds. So yeah, a very ridiculous DPS, a very ridiculous implant that I can't wait to be nerfed. So with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. Again, was a very nice little ride with the Machariel today. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.